Hello everyone, Darko2012 here with Global Government News, and I'm reading an article from the CantonRep.com, and it is a story coming out of Ohio about F-16 fighters um, doing air defense training. Ohio is a big state for the for having National Guard training exercises with foreign troops, where they have troops come inside their state from a lot of times Ohio. The detachments, the foreign detachments that they have connected with them, are usually from Serbia and Croatia and more on the Slavic nations. Um, and I'm going to show you a couple other stories besides this one, but this comes to no surprise to me as far as F-16 is doing, exercises. And let's check it out. F-16's fighters to buzz Canton during air defense training. Look at the sky Thursday afternoon. You might see the quote Fighting Falcons overhead. The Fighting Falcons, also known as F-16 dogfighter aircraft, will fly maneuvers over the Canton area as part of an air defense training staged by members of the Toledo-based Ohio Air National Guard 180th Fighter Wing. There will probably be two or three in the air, said Navy Lieutenant Commander Gary Ross, serving at the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, in Colorado. They will probably be about 2,000 to 3,000 feet above ground. It will be visible to people on the ground. There will be fighters escorting general aviation aircraft as part of the exercise, he was quoted as saying. And he goes on and says NORAD is coordinating the mock defense maneuvers nationwide, preparing military personnel to identify and defend against domestic hostile acts such as September 11th, 2001. And I just talked about this, and I just made this point in my last video where President Cheney, or Vice President Cheney, uh, directed with executive powers that NORAD stand down just hours, days before the 9/11 attacks. So, I don't buy any of this crap when they say, oh, we're gonna work with NORAD, because if they're told to stand down prior to a terrorist attack happening, um, then I don't really buy the stories like this when they say that they're working to help prevent another 9/11. Because when events like 9/11 occur, the only thing that happens is it justifies these assholes being able to use our money to go up and do exercises that are going to be used most likely to allow more terrorist attacks to occur. Right? It's not going to prevent them. It's just going to allow them more to occur, and it also trains them. It sets the premise, it sets a pretense for, and the funding to train for quote domestic terrorism for the near future. And these are the points that I always try to make: is that they always use these, they allow terrorist attacks to happen, and then they fund them so that they can justify what they're doing, right? Because normally you don't train with foreign troops. I'm going to get to that other story, but you don't train with foreign troops, especially troops that aren't necessarily our friends or have this, during a war. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's all bullshit because it all goes back to 9/11, right? Because then, oh, it's a war on terror. We're at war, but we're not really at war. It just justifies us being able to go to different countries and occupy them and to kill them, right? And so we call them terrorists, and so that will happen in the United States when the economy collapses and there's people that they're going to be called terrorists because they're pissed off that the Federal Reserve and the bankers stole everything that they have and all the futures of our future children in this country, in this republic. And so they've been setting up for this for a long time. And so what these little parasites are doing is they're just training behind our backs, over our heads, in plain view, with our money, to defend our own enslavement, and they're so compartmentalized that they don't even understand it. They don't even make the connection. So they just think that they're being patriotic. So moving on here to finish this, it says we have fighter jets throughout the country, and we need to train them in the environment, says Ross by telephone from the Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs. We test throughout the country at various times to make sure their test procedures are up to the mark. Before September 11th, we basically looked outside Canada and the United States for intrusions. The difference now is that we monitor all flights that are internal and external. NORAD, which began in the late 1950s, is a joint organization between the United States and Canada, which started out with the intent of providing defense against possible attack by the Soviet Union by way of the Arctic. And of course, the Cold War, you know, you can say what you want about it, but most of the time it just kept people kept them in fear, and allowed all the spying and all that good stuff to go on. So before it was, the commies are going to get us. Now it's the terrorists are going to get us. So after September 11th attacks, NORAD launched its Operation Noble Eagle initiative. It focuses on monitoring aircraft flying in the United States. So I'm going to link here to another article. And this article is titled Ohio Guard Teams with Israeli Forces During Joint Exercise. U.S. Navy warships set anchor in the Mediterranean Sea on the coast of Israel as Israeli Defense Forces, joined by more than 1,000 U.S. service members, prepared for a simulated missile attack against the capital city. Now, see, when they do this, you got to be careful, because you don't know if it's going to be a real exercise, or Israel got attacked and we're going to blame it on Iran. Let's bomb Iran, right? And then so when people down the road, such as myself and other truth movement warriors and patriots, call it out and say, hey, wait a minute, there's a coincidence here. You guys were doing a training exercise just the day prior to this, for the exact same thing that happened. Either you guys are very, very good, or and this was a coincidence, or you guys were basically trying to cover your ass. So, and it says 9 soldiers from the Ohio Army National Guard's chemical, biological, radiological, all that good stuff, will join 1,000 soldiers from the air detachment out of Germany. And it says prior to this year's exercise, National Guard involvement has been limited to staff level, but the Ohio SURF has made the name for itself. So this is just National Guard doing that. And I'm just going to fly through a couple of these. Ohio Guard team provides medical care in El Salvador. It says this unit is a medical, humanitarian, civic assistance exercise conducted in partnership with the government of El Salvador and U.S. Southcom. So here you have Ohio-Serbia continued cooperation training, Kapala, whatever. And this says there are more than one way to open doors. Soldiers from the Ohio Army National Guard's company special forces show their counterparts in the Serbian parachutist battalion that June 14th, while conducting joint demolitions training at here Camp Grayling, says the two countries' elite troops were training together for the second time through a unit-level exchange with the National Guard Bureau State Partnership Program. That's it, the National Guard Bureau State Partnership Program, which teams National Guard states with developing democracies throughout the world to build long-term relationships and foster trust and cooperation between the countries. There we go. 4 states trained for Kosovo mission just 3 months after returning to the U.S. from a 15-month tour in Iraq. Special SPC Sean Evans of the California Army National Guard's 1st Battalion, 185th Armored, jumped at the opportunity to deploy again. However, instead of shipping out for another tour in Iraq, the infantrymen joined about 1,300 other members of the California Guard's 40th Infantry Division for a 10-month peacekeeping mission to Kosovo. And so there you go. So here you go. This is MinnesotaNationalGuard.org, and you got all the states here: Alabama, Romania, California, Ukraine, California, Nigeria, Colorado, Slovenia. Illinois has Poland, Indiana, Slovakia. And they say it's third world countries, but you want to know what the truth is? You want to know what I believe? When the economy collapses and the UN and Chinese and Russian troops are here, they're going to send NATO, EU troops all right? Because they are bound to the UN. Because if they don't, it's a with us, you're either with us or against us strategy, and they will be used to take on the American people and shoot Americans. Okay, this is what this is for. You're going to have foreign troops inside America when the collapse takes place, and that's what they're going to be used for. If they want to be members, they have to do this.